Good Erev Shabbos. I honestly have just a few thoughts I want to share. I would say this is not going to be an extended, long, 2-hour shmooze. It's going to be less than a long 2-hour shmooze. But we're dealing with a parsha, Parshas Yisro. I just want to get right into it. Parshas Yisro was almost my favorite parsha. Almost my favorite parsha. Why was Parshas Yisro, Shmuel, almost my favorite parsha? Because my birthday is Erev Shavuos. Perhaps the greatest day on the Jewish calendar in history. But Erev Shavuos, I had always thought my bar mitzvah was going to be on Shavuos. And my bar mitzvah parsha was going to be Parshas Yisro. And I would get to learn it, and it would be amazing. But as life would have it, my wonderful parents decided that they did not want I suppose, every family member around for Yom Tov for 2 straight days. So we did not have my bar mitzvah on Shavuos, tragically. I had to wait till the following week, and instead of having a nice short parsha to learn, the shortened version of Parshas Yisro, which Parshas Yisro is already quite short, at somewhere between 72 and 75 psukim, I got Parshas Nasai, which is 176 psukim, the longest parsha in the Torah. There's a lot of repetition. But that is the parsha I had to do instead. I do remember, though, my bar mitzvah was June 16th, June 17th. There was 2 days of yeshiva after that, and I didn't go back. But I got in a lot of trouble, and ever since then, I made sure that everyone in the yeshiva has a tremendously incredible attendance. That said, thank you very much. But in a certain way, it's my bar mitzvah parsha, Parshas Yisro. Parshas Yisro is a tremendous opportunity. In my class, when we approach the Yom Tovim of Simchas Torah and the Yom Tov of Shavuos, I often say, this is the Yom Tov for the Bnei Torah. This is the Yom Tov for us, for the Yeshivalite, the people like us, Bnei Torah who are dedicated to learning Torah. The Yom Tov of Shavuos, the Yom Tov of Kabbalah Torah, the Yom Tov obviously of Simchas Torah and Shmini Atzeres is the Yom Tov of the joy of Torah. It's the Yom Tov for us Bnei Torah. And when the Parsha of Yisro comes around, Shavuos has come around. Svarim explain that the Yom Tov can be triggered by 2 things. One thing that could trigger the Yom Tov is the calendar. The day on the calendar, it's the 6th or the 7th of Sivan, makes it Shavuos. The Yom Tov is triggered by the calendar, Eli. On the other hand, the Yom Tov can also be triggered by the Kriyas HaTorah of that week. If you're in the week of Parshas Yisro, then something of Shavuos has been triggered, and this week Shabbos Yisro, is Shabbos Kabbalah Torah. You're stepping into Shavuos. Now, I'm not recommending that everyone on Friday night stay up learning throughout the night, although that would be wonderful, a great opportunity, and I'm sure Milstein will make a shul available if anybody would like to go to learn through the night. Certainly, if anyone would like to come over to my house, we'll learn through the night. You have to arrange your own transportation. But Shavuos is triggered by Parshas Yisro. In fact, Svarim say that the trigger of the holiness of Kabbalah Torah is more powerful on this week, on Shabbos, than it is even on Shavuos. Interesting. Why is it more powerful? They explain, because Shabbos is what's triggering it. Shabbos is obviously the holiest day on the calendar. And Shabbos is bringing a Shavuos. Shabbos brings a Shavuos that makes it tremendously powerful. A Shabbos of Kabbalah Torah. If people are so excited for the Yom Tov of Shavuos to learn, to make it beautiful, the flowers, but people should be excited for this Shabbos. I want to share something. It's something which always struck me about Parshas Yisro, something about the effect of Kabbalah Torah. And with that, I'll conclude and let you think about it. There's a Gemara. The Gemara says, "B'chol yoyim v'yoyim bas kol yitzes mehar chayrev." An echo, a voice, comes out from the mountain of Har Sinai. And it says something. Oy lanu me'al beinu shel Torah It talks about how people are not properly dedicated to Torah. But an echo comes out from Har Sinai. Every single day, an echo comes out from Har Sinai. Now, I ask you, Chaim, have you heard that echo? Do you wake up in the morning sometimes? Oh, I'm shaken. I just heard the voice from Har Sinai waking me up. I wish I had that. Sometimes you wake up, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, baby's screaming, baby's crying, right? Is Aliza screaming, Aliza crying? Yeah, wakes you up, gets you up. I don't think that's the voice of Har Sinai. The Bas Kol Yetzis Mehar Chayav, a voice from Har Sinai. My cousin, he was chavrusas with, when the Gedali Hadar of Shmuel Kamenetsky Shlita, when they would learn, whenever there was a loud sound outside, Rav Shmuel would grab his hat. Oh no, it's not Mashiach. That's what he does. He's so in tune, waiting for Mashiach to come. Is that the noise of the shofar? No, oh, it's not. I'll put a hat back down. Okay. It's a nice thing. He would put his hat on first. But does anybody hear that noise? The voice of Har Sinai. Is it really there? What does that mean? Is it Musar Vart? Something deep to think about. There was a great tzaddik who lived, a great Rosh Hashiva, he lived in Detroit. His name was Rabbi Bakst. If anybody wants to see real geschmacka learning with chavrusas, there's a very famous video. I'm not going to say where you could find such a video, but there's a very famous video with Rabbi Bakst, Rosh Hashiva in Detroit, Beis Yehuda, and Rav Shmuel Berenbaum, Zechet Tzadik Levracha, the Rebbe of Rabbi Milstein. There's a video of them by a chasana together, sitting next to each other, screaming and yelling and arguing at each other and learning. To the point where they turn their chair, turns the chair away from the other one, and they turn their chair back and they argue more. It's very geschmack. It's real how chavrusas really fight it out. The only thing valuable fighting about is I hold my pshat is better than your pshat. Let's keep fighting it out. So Rav Leib Bakst was very troubled. Why was he very troubled? One night, he was learning in his house, and as he was learning, he got stuck on a very, very difficult, let's say it was a Taisvus. He got stuck in a very difficult Taisvus, and he's learning it, and it's 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and suddenly he hears an answer. That was very weird. He hears an answer, a pshat and Taisvus. Now, he's the only one there. He was very disturbed. He thought maybe he was having a delusional, hallucinatory moment. The next day, in Detroit, there was a wedding. My Rebbe's Rebbe, Rav Soloveitchik, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, Rav Soloveitchik was by this chasana. And Rav Leib Bakst goes to Rav Soloveitchik, and he sits down next to him. Rav Soloveitchik was significantly older than Rav Leib Bakst. So Rav Leib Bakst goes up to Rav Soloveitchik, and he says to him, I have to tell you, I had a terrible experience, a very strange experience. I was learning in my house, and he details the whole story with him. And Rav Soloveitchik tells him like this. He said, Rav Soloveitchik's wife had passed away, I think in 1979. He said, when my wife passed away, I was so depressed, I could not sleep anymore. I couldn't sleep. You should know that eventually when he came back to Yeshiva, Soloveitchik, so the Yeshiva people were so nervous that any things would trigger Soloveitchik to get back into his depression. So they told the people in that shir not to ask any questions to Soloveitchik. My Rebbe was in their shir, and when this person says nobody could ask any question, my Rebbe, Rabbi Shurkin Shlita, so he was in the shir, and the moment of Soloveitchik starts talking, my Rebbe jumps in. Well, how can you say that? He said, Soloveitchik says, who said that? Who said that? Somebody's arguing with me. He knew that. Nobody's supposed to talk. Who said that? And he starts yelling and screaming at my Rebbe. My Rebbe screams back at him. The whole shir, those who are able to participate, they all start arguing, and Rav Soloveitchik walks out of the shir room at the end of the next 4 or 5 hours. That's how long the shir could be. He walks out at the end, and he turns to somebody, and he says, Shurkin saved my life. My Rebbe, he said, Shurkin saved my life. If I would have come in here and give a shir, and nobody would have fought with me, where's the learning in that? Shurkin saved my life. And Rav Soloveitchik, he was very depressed. And he says to Rav Leib Bakst the story, I couldn't go to sleep. And so what would I do? I would stay up the whole night learning, and I'd fall asleep in the Gemara a little bit, and I'd wake up again. And that's what I would do for days and days and days. I would just stay up all night learning. I'm staying up all night learning one night, and what happened to you happened to me. I had a question, I was stumped, and I hear a voice. Rav Soloveitchik said that he was so confused by this voice, he got up, and he walked around his house screaming, who was in my house? He was very confused. He said it happened to him a second time too. And he really struggled over it. What is going on here? Is there a special hallucinatory syndrome which is unique to B'nai Torah? What is it? And he said, you know what it is? And Rabbi Box writes it in his Sefer. You know what it is? It's that echo of Har Sinai. There is a voice from Har Sinai, and if you're dedicated enough to it, you will merit hearing it. I remember when I was in yeshiva, I always say that when you go in yeshiva, it's Israel especially, and here also, it's so beautiful how everyone here can learn from each other. Yesterday, when we had our beautiful Tu B'Shvat Tish, we had, besides for how beautiful it was, and the brachas and the omens, it was really very, very beautiful. But aside from that, at the end, the people who set aside time, putting back the Beis Medrash, cheer by cheer, table by table, every single thing, deposited in the trash, every single thing. Michael's not here right now, but he went to organize every single table and every single chair at the end. A number of our 12th graders did that. Others also. But it's beautiful. We learn so much from each other. When you're in Eretz Yisrael, you can learn so much from your chaver and from your friends. And I had a friend, I remember, Meyer Rosenblum. His grandfather was one of the Gedolei Olam, and I remember he shared with me once something. In Yiddish, he said, the words in Yiddish, I didn't know much Yiddish at the time, the words in Yiddish are very refined, they're very deep, and you could really think into the words. One of the words in Yiddish is that when you come up with something, a genius idea, in English we might say, it's actually Latin, we might say it's a eureka moment. I had a eureka, light bulb, a eureka moment. Eureka in Latin, I believe it means, I've got it. I've got it. In Yiddish, the word for a eureka moment, a genius idea that came to you, is called an Einfall. An Einfall. What does that mean, an Einfall? I had an Einfall. Hab gehabt an Einfall. What does that mean? He said to me, says my friend, a guy in my share, he told me this. And I remember it all those years later. An Einfall, he told me, it means it's eingefallen auf mir. That an idea, it fell down on me from Shemayim. That's how we identify when you have a tremendous idea. It's an Einfall. It fell upon me. If you have parents that speak Yiddish, ask them, where does the term of the word Einfall come from? An Einfall, what is an Einfall? It fell upon me. Sometimes you have an idea, you don't know where it comes from. It's because a voice from this week's parasha is coming out and it's dropping an idea on your mind. Sometimes you get a chizuk, sometimes you get, oof. You know what? I could do that. My attendance may not have been super incredible lately, but you know what? I could do that. I can be energized. Epis is eingefallen auf mir. Something is falling upon me. A great idea, an inspiration, a revitalization. That's what you get from this week's parasha. It's not a joke. We may not have heard it. Chaim, I don't know if Chaim hears it, and I don't know if I hear it. But sometimes I get an idea, and just like the rest of you, it drops in my head. We're learning in class sometimes. We're learning Gemara, and somebody comes out of the blue with such an idea. I remember Yosef Shemesh came one day. I don't even know where that idea came from. It was such a geschmack ha'ara. It's an amazing thing. And we get to have that. And all your Rebbes get to have that in your class. To be able to have it. Torah was given in Har Sinai, and it's given every single day. There's such a power to this Shabbos. When you go to shul this Shabbos, and you hear Kriyas HaTorah, you should know Kriyas HaTorah, the reading of the Torah in shul, is triggering a spiritual bomb. And that spiritual bomb it is triggering is Shavuos. It is bringing Shavuos to you and this week's parasha. What a tremendously powerful idea. Just think about it. I only spoke for a few minutes this week, but think about it. Appreciate it. Shavuos is here. It's the Yom Tov for us B'nai Torah. It's the Yom Tov of Kabbalas HaTorah. You know what Shavuos also has? What does Shavuos also have? Cheesecake, 100%. Go delicious food. You should be zeicha to delicious food, not cheesecake by your Suda, but have a wonderful Shabbos.